Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, May the 3rd. I can't believe it. It's May. This is Tammeron. I know you're following me here on my Facebook personal page, so you must know me from somewhere. And you know what? I'm a little bit excited today because it started to rain here in Northern Ontario. And so you know what that means. It means the rain's going to melt the snow. And that means the snow is going to be gone pretty soon. And then I'll be lighting my little sauna to detox. And then I'm going to go jump in the freezing cold lake because that's what Canadians do, especially if you're in Northern Ontario up here. So I just wanted to check in with everyone and just find out, how is everybody feeling during this crazy Mercury retrograde cycle that's happening, whether you're into astrology or not. You know what? This occurrence, which is when the planet Mercury appears to move backwards in the sky, but it's actually not. But the planet Mercury does this 3 to 4 times a year, and it usually lasts for about 21 days. Now, there's a little bit of time beforehand. It's like the pre-shadow period. And there's a little bit of time afterwards, which is called the post-shadow period. And so when the planet Mercury goes in this crazy retrograde cycle, life just gets crazy when it comes to anything to do with writing, speaking, media, technology, sometimes travel, right? Computers, right? So be careful. Before you send that email, make sure you've double checked it. Check your grammar. Make sure you got the right tone. Make sure, you're taking some time and to act a little bit slower before you do any of these things. And the reason why I'm going to encourage you to do that, because as a certified astrologer myself, the planet Mercury is sitting in the astrological horoscope sign of Taurus. Okay. So, you know how there's the 12 different astrology horoscope signs that circumference the earth? Well, when planets move through those different horoscope astrological signs, it means something very specific. It means something. And so the planets pick up the meaning of the energy of that constellation, that astrological section of the sky. And so the Taurus astrological sign in the sky is all about slow, steady, very grounded, right? It's a process. So if you're trying to get anything done during this Mercury retrograde and you're trying to like, oh yeah, it's going to be completed, I'm going to do it in this amount of time, don't do it like that. I'm going to encourage you to spend some time, reflect, maybe even do some journaling and reflection on some of the daily questions that I'm posting here all across social media for this Mercury retrograde, because we're on day 13, right? So I said it lasts about 21 days, but I love to encourage people to use this window of time and to be in more of a reflective energy for even an additional 8 days. So I always do like a 28-day Mercury retrograde journaling introspective experience for myself. So I walk my talk, right? And I'm someone who was actually born under the sign of when Mercury was retrograde in the sky when I was born. So for some people, we're used to the crazy chaos, and we can actually calm other people down during this cycle and the season that happens 3 to 4 times a year. So for years now, I've been using this as an opportunity to really sit back and reflect and think about things a little bit more, because Mercury represents this mind, what we call in astrology, the lower mind, right? Because it's the intellectual mind where we have to think. It's how our brain functions. And when I do a reading for a client, I love to share the personal signature in their birth chart that's represented by Mercury, because that's powerful knowledge. If either you're an entrepreneur or you're a student in school, or you're trying to look for a job and you're trying to sign up for stuff that you find really frustrating and it's hard for you to do, then that's not the job for you. That's not how your brain works. That's not how your mind works. So align yourself in tasks and jobs and skill sets with your natural abilities with your Mercury sign. So again, that's one of the signatures that I love to share with people about their own astrology chart. So again, if you're watching this and you're watching live or you're watching the replay, just comment below, like, do you want to know any more about the planet Mercury? Because I'm going to be doing some cool master classes as well for the summer inside of my online academy called Inner Lights Academy. So if you want to know more, just post a comment below, whether you're in my group or not, and you are welcome to join, because I love to teach and educate people about what is happening in the astrological sky, what's currently happening, and how to manage your emotional body, and really some of the emotions that are coming up for people, whether that's negative or positive. Like when it's feeling really dark and dismal, I love to recommend natural remedies such as herbal tea, because I'm always drinking a tea, and a specific tea made out of a specific herb, because herbs have emotional healing properties. Yeah, that's right. That's plant medicine going way back to our ancestors that were highly intuitive, very connected to nature. They didn't live in the fast-paced world that we live in, right? They live in a different world. They lived in a different world. And so, okay, I've got a thumbs up going. So the universe has given me a thumbs up. So getting back to that, you know, a long time ago, people knew intuitively what to drink, what was local in their community, what was on the ground, what was growing on plants and shrubs and trees, right? And they used that for their medicine to help them. Like, is anybody here? Is anybody watching Outlander, or have you watched Outlander? And if you have, let me know below, because I just finished watching that series. I like to check out at night, at the end of the night, like I need to turn my brain off. So I love to watch really powerful movies with powerful stories. And I just love to study characters, because that helps me to keep myself educated. Because literally as I'm watching movies, I'm like, oh, that's that personality. Oh, that's probably that in their astrology sign. Oh, they're going through that. I'd recommend this herb. Like, that's literally how my brain works. It never turns off, but it's like free study time to watch movies. And I just love powerful movies. So getting back to Outlander, if you've watched that whole series, like, that's how people lived. You know, they had people that lived in their communities and their tribes that were the healers. They were the medicine people, and they knew what to give you if you were in a funk or if there was something physical happening, right? So I'm not talking about needing surgery or needing doctors. I'm talking about emotional health and wellness, right? So I'm going to come back circle again. How are you feeling during this Mercury retrograde cycle? Because we're on day 13, right? And usually for some people, they're feeling overwhelmed. That's usually exactly how everybody describes this chaotic, crazy, feel like I'm going through some kind of a wild, turbulent time. And their mind is just, it's too much, because Mercury is, like I said, it's about the intellectual mind, the lower mind, not the higher mind, not our spirituality, not that higher connection to something bigger than all of us, right? It's the mind. And so people are just, they check out. They can't function. They can't move forward. They can't get things done because their head is spinning. So if this sounds like you and you're super frustrated, let me know, or even send me a private message. I'm going to encourage you to join my online academy, my Inner Lights Academy, because here I am talking to you on Facebook. And so every week I do some amazing cool stuff inside of my academy. So currently right now, we got a few things going on. We've got this Mercury retrograde, what I call an alchemy experience, a spiritual alchemy experience. It's an opportunity for you to look back and think about some stuff from your past that you may be getting memories and flashbacks of situations, conversations, people, ex-partners, ex-lovers, ex is anything that come in your mind, usually during a Mercury retrograde season. And you go, hey, Maybe it's time to finally deal with that. Maybe it's finally time to write that letter and double check it. I'm going to guarantee you to double check it. Make sure the tone is right. Say what you need to say, right? Or maybe it's an opportunity for just say something to someone. Have you dealt with your own demons? Is it time for you to do something right, to make a situation right where it was wronged because of an action or a behavior of your own? Because it takes a lot of courage and guts to do the work. And that's what I mean. Do the work, do the spiritual work, not do the work, not do the dishes. I'm not talking about that kind of work. I'm talking, you know what? It's tough to be human, because I believe, just like Stephen Covey quoted, is that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. I believe we are spiritual beings having a human experience, which means we're all going to mess up, right? Nobody's perfect. But if you take the time to say, you know what, I'm going to do something about that because I want to walk away in my life having no regrets. Right? So if that's what you're thinking, then I'm going to encourage you. Now is the time to do it. It's Mercury Retrograde, right? And I'm going to encourage you, to write down, like, this is what I do. If something comes to me in my meditations, believe it or not, this is my journal. These are my journals that I've created. So if you want to join and become an actual member of my community, you can, right? You're going to get one of these books on your enrollment. This is woo-woo new age school. Not like school. We used to go to school where you go to school and you get the books on how to learn math and science. No, this is new age school. You're going to learn how to do your own therapy, connect and talk to yourself, right? Just quietly talk to yourself. That's what journaling's about. It's like fun therapy. You can say whatever you want. You can write down whatever you want. So I do things like this. And these are guided questions that I use frequently, right? And I date them. Who am I going to say a prayer for? Who do I know is struggling right now that could just need some love and some good vibes coming their way? Whether you're reading people's posts, whether people are sharing with you in their life, say a prayer for them. That doesn't take long. Who did you act kindly towards? Like acts of kindness. That's my love language. Spending time with people and acts of kindness. Those are my two. I think that spending time is my number one love language. But when I asked my kids to focus on theirs and to read the book, the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, they looked at me and said, no, Mom, you're like acts of kindness. You're always doing stuff for people. And I got that from my upbringing, right? Like my parents and my mom were always doing something for people. They never asked for anything back. Right? You need something. If there's a way they can help you, they're going to help you. So that was ingrained in me in growing up. And I was the oldest child as well. So you know what? That is a part of who I am now. So my kids reflected that back on me. And it was like, wow, I don't see what they see. Isn't that fascinating? And speaking of that, on an astrology note, when I study a client's astrological birth chart, what other people see is your ascendant or your rising sign, because you don't see that. So it's fascinating and powerful information to learn what other people see in you, because your sun sign is what you know about yourself, right? Your horoscope sign. I'm a Capricorn, right? Something needs to get done. It gets done. I make it happen, whether I like it or not. It has to get done. It has to get checked off the list. That's what leaders do. They do it because they just feel like they got to do it, right? Leaders don't complain. They just go and do it. It might sound like we're complaining afterwards, but that's the Capricorn energy is. But we have to process that, so we find the solutions and we find the answers. We're big time problem solvers. You got a problem? Go talk to a Capricorn. They've probably done it, been there, in it, or they know somebody that can help you, right? That's Capricorn mind thinking. And then your moon sign, the last thing I'm going to talk about in your astrology personality profile, is that part of you that nobody else knows. It's who you are in your house when there's nobody around, nobody peeking in the windows, nobody watching you on cameras, nobody knowing what you're doing at all. That's what we call your moon sign in astrology. And that too is powerful information because it represents your subconscious in astrology. And understanding that is understanding how you really process your emotions and some of the tools and the tricks that you need to really process. Because for some people, feelings can come super easy. Oh, I'm feeling this, blah, blah, blah. But for someone like me, no. I have to really sit and I have to think about it. And I have to ask myself, what am I feeling today? And then, boom, I write it down. All right. So getting back to the journal. And then I can say to myself, oh, then I know what to use. And because I'm much older and wiser now, like I'm 59, going on 60 soon. Oh my God, where did my life go? But, I'm feeling certain things. I just have my holistic tools and remedies. Like, for example, I was just making some other videos. So things like using Bach flower essences, right? I'm a certified practitioner in this. So this is one of the remedies that I recommend for so many of my clients because they're so powerful and they're easy to use. You can get these at your local health food store, even in grocery stores now and online. But the problem is people don't know how to use them effectively. So that's why I love to work with people and share my knowledge with them because I'm going to save you a lot of time and a ton of money, right? And then also I talk about high grade essential oils and I even make specific blends for people and recommend them because again, a lot of people buy these products, they buy them from their friends, they go to the parties, they get them at the store, and then they come home and it sits on the shelf. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how much, they don't know how often, they don't know how to understand or where to get the knowledge. And so it just sits on the shelf and never gets used. And then they go, that woo-woo stuff, it didn't work. Well, you're right. It didn't work because you just didn't use it properly, right? So I love to educate people. All right. So that's what I do. And this is normal for me. Literally, my kitchen is like an apothecary. It's got essential oils. It's got my herbs. It's got my teas. It's got all my funky stuff. And some people think I'm weird. And hey, that's okay. But you know what? When it comes to emotional health, this is the age of Aquarius that we're in now. And you know what? More people are open to learning and to want to use some of these holistic remedies rather than run into a doctor and getting medicated and then getting numbed out, right? And not even understanding how to process their feelings, or they just they become a zombie, right? So I know we need doctors. I'm not saying don't go to your doctor, but what I'm saying is that use your doctor for when you really need a doctor. And go see a holistic practitioner when you're feeling in a funk. Like if you're feeling angry or you're feeling upset or if you're feeling overwhelmed and it's Mercury retrograde. You know what? There's a remedy for that. There is actually a Bach flower remedy that you can take that's going to help you calm the brain down and calm your mind down. It's like, whoa. It's like, wow, I feel so totally different. And that's where the magic is in a lot of these holistic remedies. It's just in the education and the learning, right? The stuff's there on the market shelves. It's just you got to learn how to use it. So again, I'm going to encourage you, if this resonates with you or you know someone, comment below, live, replay, whatever it is. Come and join my community because this is what I do is I educate you. So I was getting back to the original story that I was talking about is this is what we're talking about now in my community, the daily posts, right? And today I just felt called to jump on my Facebook wall here and start sharing with all of you that, you know what, slow down a little bit if you're feeling like you're going a little bit bonkers during this Mercury retrograde and go back and look at some of these daily posts that I'm putting up. I'm dating them every single day. So today is the day 13 of the 28th day of the Mercury retrograde spiritual alchemy experience. Okay, it's time to alchemize. It's time to process what you've been thinking about and to move on and to clear it. All right. That's what alchemy is. It's when you put pressure on something, right? And then boom, it clears because it's the same as a diamond, right? When you put pressure on coal, boom, the diamond is formed. So for me, I have been following along some of the questions that I've been writing, of course, because I'm writing them. So my mind is going through it. And even today, a huge shift occurred for myself because I took the guts to actually write something that I knew I needed to acknowledge to someone and to actually give it a voice. It was like, I need to acknowledge this is real and I've accepted it and thanked someone for it from the kindness of my heart. I was genuine when I wrote that message. So if anything's coming up for you, again, I'm going to encourage you to write it down. And also there's other things that I have in my journal. So again, if you want your own copy, comment below, message me. I'm going to give you a copy, right? Join my membership. Then you're going to get some other bonus items as well. Okay. Because I want you to make sure that you connect with yourself. And then it's even fun to go back and read some of the things that you've written and say to yourself, wow, that's actually what I was feeling and I was going through. I don't have that anymore. So this is like your own soul's journey growth little journal, right? It's powerful and it's 100 pages. It's made with recycled paper, spiral bound, and it's guided. And then there's an open section as well on the flip pages on things that you're grateful for and why, and then your notes, right? Like what's happening in your life, because you'll start to see patterns that start occurring. So 100 pages, let's be realistic, folks. Let's be really realistic here. Even if you wrote in this journal once a week, it's going to last you for 2 years. 2 years. Okay. But I bet you're going to start liking it. You're going to see how things are shifting because I'm asking you these thought-provoking questions that make you think differently about your life. And that's the first step. Think it. Second step is write it down. And then somehow you just kind of take an action. And that's when the magic starts to happen in your life, right? It's like, whoa. And then somehow people notice and go, hey, what's different about her? Why is she so happy? Why is he so happy? Right? That's what it's about. Taking our power back is looking after ourselves. It's not about fixing and trying to save and solve anybody else's problems. No, there's no fun in that. And you know what? That's just draining, sucking the life out of you. But if you work on yourself, that's when you're in control of your destiny and everything around you that's happening, right? So if something comes up, you control what you feel about it. How are you going to manage it? And that's really this energy that I'm going to close off with here in Mercury Retrograde, is to remind you to really take some time out. So we've got another week or so. In fact, Mercury Retrograde ends on Sunday, May the 14th, on Mother's Day. All right. So it's going to end in that cycle. And then we're going to have the shadow period where things will slowly start to feel like they're getting better, right? You won't feel so chaotic in your mind, right? And just honor yourself and honor what's coming up for you. Give it a voice, write it down, and see what starts to shift in your life. And that's watching that magic just kind of happen. So thank you for listening. Again, this is Tammeron here. And what else am I going to share? What am I going to share? It's Wednesday. So we've got the full moon happening on Friday. It's the full moon solar eclipse. So if you watch my weekly videos, my Your Time Matters, they go out on social media every Thursday. I know they're on my wall, but they're on links here, so I don't know if people see them. It's also on my YouTube channel under Inner Lights Academy TV, or you can even join my weekly newsletter. Those videos go in my newsletter. I give you a little blurb. I talk about what's happening in the astrological sky each week and what herb or tea that I recommend to put in your teacup for the week. So when it's a full moon, I always talk about cleansing herbs. Like the full moon is detox, but this is a lunar eclipse. So there's like going to be a big shift in your life happening. Like something's either brewing right now and your life's going to go in a new direction because of this energy that's happening. And it's going to happen in one specific area of your life, because in astrology, your life is divided into 12 houses. And when I do an astrological birth chart reading on someone, we look at those specific houses. So right now the sun's in Taurus and the moon on Friday is going to be in Scorpio. So Scorpio is an intense emotional energy, right? Think of a Scorpio. He crawls around the bottom of the ocean on the water, right? So this is deep emotional. So you might be even getting really moody and cranky. And you know what? That's because the moon's going to be in Scorpio, but it's an intense energy. And so when it's really intense and you connect with it, you can clear it. Okay. So I've been encouraging everybody to use lemongrass. So I have tea that's actually got lemongrass with some other herbs and foods in it that balance the flavor. Plus, I have another lemongrass tea that's mixed with rooibos, so there's no caffeine in it. That's another option I have. So I have it, I'm drinking it. If you love Thai food, cook with some lemongrass and make some beautiful Thai cuisine recipes. You'll just feel emotionally better because it also helps. The emotional story of lemongrass is to clear any spiritual darkness. So if you're feeling this heaviness, what you'll start to feel is like this chakra, the third eye. It's like, things just become more clear. It's like you get those big aha moments after using lemongrass. And plus, I also use high-grade essential oils. And so I put a couple of drops of lemongrass in my bath, and I always make sure I have a bath around the full moon. So either the day before, the day of, the day after. I take some time to really allow myself to process what's coming up so I can clear it. And it's an amazing essential oil to use around the full moon. So a couple of drops of pure lemongrass. Again, only use a couple of drops because it's a really strong, it's a strong essential oil. You don't want to burn yourself. And then I add some baking soda and I add some Epsom salts into my bath. So again, these recipes that I'm sharing with you, I'll give you the exact amounts inside of my Inner Lights Academy. So again, if you want information on that, comment below. Let me know if you're watching live or on the replay. Come and join us and play inside of my online academy. And I go a little bit deeper. I share some educational information with you each week as to why I chose specific things. I also give you action steps. I prepare you for any of the big astrological events. And so that means tomorrow on Thursday, the day before the full moon at 2:00 Eastern, I'm going to go live inside the group. So that's tomorrow. And I'm going to give you some tools to prepare for this full moon lunar eclipse energy that is happening. So if you've been listening this long, thank you so much. And happy Mercury retrograde. Remember, clear up the stuff, right? Anything from your exes or your past, make things right. Okay, this is the perfect time to do it. So I'm signing off. I look forward to seeing you guys again. And cheers for now. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.